Hello, welcome back. We are heading to my mom's house in a couple days for a family dinner. And I am bringing quite a few items from the garden and from my freezer so that we can make a delicious family dinner. And what we're gonna have for dinner is a roast. It's gonna be about 22-ish people there, so we're actually gonna have a couple roasts. I'm going to get into my freezer. I think most of my roasts are at the bottom here now. I have a basket here so I can carry all the goodies that I'm gonna shop for upstairs. I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3 chuck roasts. Make sure I get some that have lots of meat on them. I'm gonna grab 3 chuck roasts that have the biggest amount of meat on them. Got a bunch of other goodies that we are going to get from my pantry. Want to make sure I put everything back into the freezer because that would be tragic if I forgot something out of the freezer. The next thing I need to get is a bottle of red wine. And I joined an organic wine club that doesn't add any sugars or sulfates. So I'm gonna grab one of those. We need a ton of onions, a couple cans of broth, maybe 4. Potatoes. My potatoes are starting to grow eyes, but that's okay. We will peel these potatoes and they will still be plenty good to eat. So I'm glad we're having these for family dinner. I'm gonna grab some garlic. Probably 4 heads. And lastly, I'm gonna go out into the garden and grab a ton of carrots. I'm not gonna harvest the carrots right now. I'll do that a different day. I don't even know what today is. Today's Wednesday. I just wanted to collect everything. I'll probably just throw this basket in the back of my car because it's nice and cool. The potatoes, onions, garlic, broth, and wine will be just fine there. We're gonna use this wine to make a delicious chuck roast or 3 chuck roast. These chuck roasts are going in the refrigerator to thaw because we want them thawed when we cook this dinner on Saturday. I am gonna harvest carrots. I'm not gonna do that right now. I will see you though when I'm harvesting carrots, and then we'll head to my mom's house and make a delicious dinner. This family dinner is actually a birthday celebration. 3 of my family members have birthdays in January, and they requested pot roast for dinner. So that is why we are having pot roast with all the traditional veggies. And what I could not believe when my mom was telling me what the menu was, I was saying, oh, I have that vegetable. I could bring that because I have a garden full of carrots. I have a pantry full of onions and garlic and potatoes, and I have a freezer full of chuck roast. And so it was just awesome that I was able to provide a lot of the ingredients that happen to be from my garden and or locally sourced. Now, one thing my family did not request is celery root, also known as celeriac, and that is the vegetable that I'm harvesting right now. I had not tried this vegetable until I became a member of a farm, a CSA, and I got this in my weekly veggie box, and I was not sure what to do with it. I turned it into a gratin, and it was incredible. And ever since then, I've loved celery root. And I thought when I was out here harvesting carrots, hey, why don't I bring a couple of these and have my parents and my family try this vegetable, because I did not realize that none of them had tried this vegetable before. It is kind of a unique looking vegetable. The part you eat is this round part. The leaves and the greens are pretty bitter, so I'm just going to cut those off and leave those in the garden. And then when I get inside, I'll wash it. I'll cut all those big roots off, and then I'll show you how we're going to cook that. And everyone loved it. So it was kind of fun to introduce my family to a vegetable that they had never tried before. So now we're inside. I have washed the carrots and the celery root at this point. Now what we're going to do is do some more prep for tomorrow. Most of the cooking is going to happen the day of the party, but I had some sourdough here that I had made over the weekend that needed to be dealt with. I made 3 loaves, which was way too much. This one was an experiment. It did not turn out. You can see the difference between the loaf that did really well and the one that was completely flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the nice loaf that proofed nicely, and I'm going to slice those and throw those in the freezer, and I can just turn those into toast as needed. But the one that didn't proof well, I'm going to turn these into croutons because we're going to have a Caesar salad at the party. And even though these loaves did not proof and it's kind of flat and dense, we're not going to let these sourdough loaves go to waste. The reason these did not turn out well is I was experimenting trying to make up my own recipe, which I probably shouldn't be doing with sourdough at this point, using fresh milled wheat. And yeah, these loaves were pretty dense. They tasted good, just super dense. And so I'm just going to cube these up and fry them in some butter, salt, and pepper. And we are going to turn them into delicious, crunchy croutons. No one knew that it was croutons made from a loaf that didn't turn out. So I've got a garlic butter in this pan. You can make croutons on the stove, or you can make them in the oven. For some reason on this day, I decided to make it on the stove. I think it is probably a lot easier to do it in the oven, but I'm doing it on the stove today. I'm also making a quick raspberry sauce because I did a organization of my freezer and I found a pound cake that I wanted to bring to this family dinner to get out of my freezer and kind of have some nice, yummy summer flavors in the middle of winter. So I'm going to make a quick raspberry sauce to go along with the pound cake, and the pound cake was fantastic. I'm also going to go ahead and whip up a creamy Caesar dressing. This is my sister-in-law's creamy Caesar dressing so that we don't have to make the dressing for tomorrow. We're doing the majority of the cooking the following day, but these were just a couple items that I could kind of check off the list at my house because I had all the ingredients to make these items, and so I went ahead and did that. But we are going to be joining my mom on Saturday morning to make the rest of the meal. So I was kind of making a mess when I made this dressing, but it still turned out perfect. It's just my sister-in-law's classic creamy dressing. I will link the recipes down below that I can between the ones that my mom makes, because my mom makes a couple desserts. We end up having 3 desserts and a main. It was just a really good dinner, just like a classic kind of Sunday roast dinner with some really special desserts as well. So I'm just going to strain this raspberry sauce just to get the seeds out, and I will meet you at my mom's house. These are the crunchy croutons. Good morning. I just got to my mom's house.
Crash.
And laid everything out that I brought. We have 3 birthdays we're celebrating today. So today we are making and prepping all the food, and it is the day of the party.
We don't usually do it this way.
Nope.
But that's how it worked out. And it's a very simple dinner, so I don't think we'll have any trouble.
No, but the biggest thing is I got here bright and early this morning because we are going to be making a roast, and that's going to take quite a bit of time to cook. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and then my mom is going to get go. Or what would you prefer to do?
Well, I think we just need to start prepping the whole roasts, multiple roasts.
Yeah.
We need to brown them. We need to prep the vegetables. So if you want to brown
Yeah.
the meat, then I can start peeling potatoes and onions and carrots and such, because we do need to get it in early enough to serve it.
Almost all of the veggies, I think all the veggies for this meal are actually from my garden. So these are 3 roasts that I thawed over the last 2 or 3 days in the refrigerator. This is the beef that I got from a local farmer. And then in here with the roast that my mom's gonna prep, we've got a ton of carrots and celery root. My mom or my dad have never tried this before. So they're gonna give this a try for the first time.
I'm looking forward to it. I've seen it listed in things, but I probably couldn't even have told you what they look like.
They are.
And I don't know what they taste like, so I'm looking forward to that.
They're not the prettiest vegetable, but they taste good. We've got tons of potatoes, which my mom helped us harvest the potatoes from the garden and the onions from the garden. So those can be peeled.
Are those actually onions from your garden?
Yeah.
Oh, they look so good.
They're
mine were all Walla Wallas, so I had to process them.
Yeah, they don't
very
last
quickly.
at
I have
all.
a few chopped still in the freezer, but the rest are gone.
And then this is garlic. I figured we could just throw in a whole head whole or something
Yes,
like
that
that.
would make tasty gravy.
Broth. This is homemade sourdough croutons for the salad. I forgot the lettuce, but we'll figure that out. Broth. I freeze-dried some sour Skittles for my brother for Christmas, but he got not very well during Christmas, so I wasn't able to give them to him. So I'm gonna give them to him today. And we've got some fresh milled wheat that I milled up yesterday, so we're gonna make that with the rolls, some homemade raspberry jam, a pound cake, strawberry freezer jam to go with that. So what I think, oh, and then this, Mom, needs to go in the fridge. That's our Caesar dressing.
Oh, that looks really good. I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought maybe it was hummus.
Oh, no. So I will get going on browning the beef, and then my mom is gonna start prepping the veggies. I'm preheating my mom's skillet here. We are gonna brown these roasts really well on each side before we roast them. I can see that there's a little bit of extra fat that I wanna trim off. Hey, Mom, can I use your new knife?
Oh, yes. I want to tell you how much I love this new knife. Becky got me this gorgeous knife, and actually, I will probably purchase a few more knives. Yes, a paring knife, a short paring knife blade, and a long paring knife blade, and maybe one that's longer and thinner. But I absolutely love it. I've had pretty decent knives, but this one's a step above.
I got this for my mom for Christmas. So hey, Mom, would you be willing to put some oil in the bottom of that pan and salt and pepper one side of that?
Certainly. I'm going to set these back here.
Thank you.
For the gravy. And actually, I made some soup this last week, beef soup, and I still have a bunch of broth that was seasoned from the bones, so we can use that too if we need. In fact, we should because it's in the refrigerator.
Okay, use that first.
Yes. I'll tell you, I think this burner gets hotter.
You can put it over there then.
I don't know why that one is supposed to be, for boiling big pots, but I think the advantage is that it's wider at the base to spread the flame out. But this is my burner of choice. I saw a funny thing that you're an adult when you have a favorite burner.
Yeah.
This is my favorite burner.
I have a favorite burner too. Okay, I'll wait for that to heat up. I'm just cutting off any huge pieces of fat.
This is a trick I use when I am peeling a large volume of fruits or vegetables, is I rip a grocery sack, a paper grocery sack, open and lay it in the bottom of my sink, and then I can peel with abandonment. So all the peels end up caught in this when it's too much to put down the garbage disposal, and that way it's easy to pick up and remove, and then I can put it in my yard debris can because it's all compostable.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You can compost the bag too.
Yes, I don't have a compost pile.
We're gonna cook the roast and all the veggies in the roaster pan because I think it's the only thing that's gonna fit all the veggies and the roasts at the same time. Mom, do you have another peeler that I could peel at the same time you're peeling?
I might. Oh, I don't know where it is. I could probably borrow one from the neighbor so we could do two.
Well, do you want me to get going on the key lime pie because that needs to bake and chill?
Sure.
So I might be able to work on the key lime pie while I'm rotating beef through here. No, I'll wait on the key lime pie. I think what I could do.
You could do the onions because they don't need.
Yes,
I will work on the onions. Oops, can you grab the escapee carrot?
Yeah, so I'll work on the onions. That would be a good thing because that just needs a knife. Do you want me to keep them whole and just peel them, or do you want them quartered?
Well, a trick that I do so that you can serve them easily is quarter them, but don't cut all the root end off so they stay together.
I can do that.
Or even cut them in sixths, but leave enough root end that they stay together in a piece.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants a quarter of an onion, but most of us really like them and we'll eat a lot of them.
We didn't think we had quite enough with the onions that I brought, so I just pulled out some onions from my mom's pantry.
I'll pass these on to you and you can cut the ends off of them as well.
Okay. They'll have to be washed again.
Yes. Well, I can leave them here then. Yeah, I've used all my carrots from the garden completely.
Do you want
I still have green beans in the freezer though.
Do you want all of these done?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Dad will eat them. Oh, they smell good.
Yeah, those are very good.
So you just harvested these yesterday?
Yep.
How many more do you have in the ground?
Not a lot. Maybe a quarter of a bed.
Oops.
Our beef is almost done browning, so I'm going to take a second and open a bottle of red wine. I'm not used to using this old type of wine opener, so let's see if I can actually do this. Oh, there we go, did it. And we called an audible. We are going to actually cook these roasts in the oven. So we pulled out a couple different roaster pans, and we'll just have to do it in a couple different ones instead of all in one, but I think that'll be fine. Okay, do you want the rest of these onions after they've been quartered? Do you think we need more?
I think that's good.
Well, I can do more, I just want to.
Well, let's just fill all the pans up with what we have.
Okay.
We probably will need more carrots.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at that and that's,
Not very much.
yeah.
Okay, look at that color. That's what we want. You don't have to do this step, but it is worth it.
Especially if you put your roast in the crock pot. Any meat like stew meat or roast or anything that you're going to put in the crock pot, it really intensifies the flavor when they're caramelized.
It's called the Maillard reaction. I'm gonna go ahead and put that whole bottle in there. I'm gonna let that reduce down just a bit. Deglaze the bottom of this pan while we finish prepping the veggies. So you can see I'm just cutting the roots off, but I'm leaving the root end intact.
Well, I'll just peel all these carrots and we can decide.
After they're washed.
Yes.
I just turned the wine off on the stove because it's reduced by about 1/4. I think that will be good. I am gonna wash these onions real quick before I put them in the roaster pan. So I did get another compost bag out for myself. Last minute, we decided to do a veggie plate. So my mom is peeling extra carrots for the veggie plate. And what we'll end up doing is the carrots that I brought from my garden, we'll use those for the veggie plate because those are gonna be really sweet and delicious. And it'll be nice to eat them raw. And we'll use some of the store-bought carrots in the roast because they're gonna get a lot more flavor from all the things in here. We still have potatoes too to put in.
Yes, I'll do that next. I have 2 more carrots to peel.
I can chop the carrots.
Yes, you decide which ones where.
Okay.
And this is all the carrots that we have.
That's more than enough. If I need to get one more roaster pan out, I can, because we should be able to fit at least all 2 of these, plus one more if we need, in one oven. You all done with that?
I'm going to put those in. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to do here. And then I will peel the potatoes. Well, maybe I'll do the celery root. I don't know. I have a clue how to do that.
Well,
First, I think I'll start with a knife.
Yeah.
Where's my good one?
I have to wash it. It's over by the beef.
Oh, meat, okay. This is the only knife I use anymore. Unless I have to have a small one, a paring knife. But that's how much I like it.
Yeah, let me wash all these veggies first and then.
I'll take the drainer when you're done and I'll peel put the peeled potatoes right into it.
Okay. Okay, here's a lot of carrots here. Here's your colander.
I still have a bag of those funny shaped red, they're kind of fingerling style potatoes, but they have a lot of bulbous pieces on them.
Oh.
From the last harvest that we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the refrigerator, yes.
Oh, I think Sarah did a lot of the peeling too when we did.
Oh, yes, when we did the
Christmas.
last group thing. I didn't have to peel at all.
That's nice.
I don't mind peeling. Someone, maybe you, upgraded my peeler to the OXO brand.
That's the
And
peeler
it
I have too.
Actually peels. It actually peels.
OXO. That's my favorite peeler. So the only veggie we're gonna have on this plate is carrots, right?
No, I have cucumbers, celery,
Oh.
cherry tomatoes.
Okay, so that's probably enough carrots then.
Oh, yes, that would be plenty. You know, I think that celery root is a good idea to use because I have seen people, I've not done it, but I've seen people use chunks of celery, like done like this, in pot roast as well.
I don't usually put carrots in my pot roast. Do you usually put it in when you put the potatoes in, or do you put it in toward the end of the cooking process?
I put it all in at the same time.
Okay.
Because I like the vegetables to be very soft.
Okay.
And sometimes the potatoes will get a brown, hard crust that's very yummy, and sometimes the carrots will even caramelize a
Okay.
bit. That's how I like it.
Let's do it that way then.
All right, I'm gonna navigate that celery root since you took over the potato peeling while I put my hair up.
So celery root has all these roots that come off and a ton of dirt gets stuck in here. So what I usually do is just cut all of that part off. And then you can cut, instead of peeling it, you
Yes.
can use your knife to cut it.
Yes, that's why I got my new favorite knife, and I washed it. I'm gonna start with a haircut. Oh, that's pretty inside.
Yeah.
Oh, smell it.
Yeah, it smells
It
good.
smells very fresh.
I love celery root. So
It smells like celery, but it has a floral. Can you smell a floral in it?
oh yeah, like citrusy almost.
I think half of cooking is aroma.
Yeah.
I mean, that really smells interesting.
Well, the nice thing is it's had a couple freezes, so it should be even sweeter than when I cooked it.
Did you just dig this up when you did the carrots?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't even know what it looks like. Next time when I'm over, show me what it
Yeah.
looks like in your garden.
You've seen it in the garden, you just didn't know
I
what you
didn't
were
know
looking
what
at.
it
It looks
was.
like celery, like really skinny celery. Well, the celery stalks that come off are really skinny.
Wow, so it's a huge bulb and then
Yeah.
little skinny things on the top. That's interesting. A lot of energy goes into making this.
Yeah. I started that in January of last year.
Oh, wow.
Indoors. Like the seed, I started the seed. They take a very, very long time to grow.
Very labor intensive then, or time intensive
Yeah,
anyway.
time intensive. Yeah, I would just cut any of the skin away,
How many did you plant?
like 11.
How many, have you used any of them yet?
I've used 2, so that's why I figured it would be good to bring some over and start
Sure,
using
what
them.
did you do with it? I'm just curious.
Make a gratin, a potato gratin, so like cheese, and
Oh,
you do half potato, half celery root that cut really thinly and make a cheese sauce.
kind of like a scalloped potato.
Exactly like scalloped potato. But half potato, half celery root.
I love the handling of this knife.
That's why I bought you that knife.
I don't have any that you have a grip space that's safe from the blade.
That's smooth.
Yes, that's smooth, and it's not in the blade. It's like on the handle. What do they call that?
Ergonomic?
Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. How do you want me to navigate this ball now? It turns out to be a little bit bigger than a softball.
I would, well, we'll wash all these vegetables at the same time, but what I probably would do, I don't know, see, maybe somewhere between a potato and a carrot stick, because I don't think anyone's going to want to bite into it the size of a potato.
Okay.
Does that make
sense?
sense?
Yes. So I could make it into sticks.
Yeah, maybe.
About half, 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
Yeah, and then people will know the white sticks are celery root, the round white things
all
are
right,
potatoes.
that works really well.
I've never cooked it this way before, so this is, I'm just guesstimating that would make the most sense.
It's tough.
The only way I've ever eaten celery root is in a gratin, or like scalloped. Some of these potatoes have green on them. I'm making sure I peel away all the green that I see.
I'm going to give a shout out for these Swedish dish towels that Becky got me, and then my husband got me a bunch more. This is how much I love them. I rarely use paper towels anymore unless it's something that I'm going to throw away, like cleaning up grease or raw egg or something like that. You know, you drop the egg.
Yeah.
But these not only do wiping counters, I can do my stainless steel, like that hood up there in my refrigerator, with warm water on one of these towels wrung out with no product.
Oh, that's nice.
No cleaning product. It picks up the grease.
That's
it
good.
picks up the fingerprints. I've used them on my windows. I have a lot of windows, if you have noticed. And I have a lot of grandkids who like to put their faces on the windows and look at the fish. And, you know, my windows get really bad. And the same thing, warm water, wrung out well, no product.
I haven't
and
tried
it's
that.
streakless.
I'll have to
Becky,
try.
it's streakless.
Nice.
They have big, dusting. I'm just going on and on and on. Dusting,
do you
same
like those
thing.
dish towels, Mom?
I do. Well, you know, I've tried every dusting product under the sun. Feather dusters, fleece duster. I hate microfiber.
I don't like it either.
Every product, I've used oils, I've used sprays, I've used everything. This same thing, hot water wrung out well, it doesn't leave moisture on your surface, and it picks up the dust.
I'll have to try that. I haven't tried that yet.
I love them. You can tell. I don't think I'll incorporate them in our camping because you have to wash them frequently. I just throw them in the washing machine and straight in the dryer. Some people say if you hang them and don't dry them in the dryer, they last a lot longer. I'm going to throw them in the dryer. I don't hang anything. How's that for a thickness?
Yeah,
and
I think
then
that looks good.
I'll cut them into juliennes.
Maybe a tad.
You want
I don't
smaller?
know. That might be an intense bite. That's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, maybe just a touch smaller than that.
Okay, I can do them more towards half to 3/4.
Yeah, that looks good, I think.
I can cut this one down.
If you guys like it, I'll leave the second one with you.
Oh, yes, I think Dad would like it.
I think you will too. So if your potato is growing eyes, you absolutely can still eat the potato as long as it's not moldy or anything like that and it's nice. Some of my potatoes are even just a slight bit soft, but this one's still perfectly firm, and it's okay if they're soft as long as they haven't gone bad. You can certainly eat them.
And we're going to eat them soft anyway.
That's true.
Okay.
The last veggie we need to prep for the pot roast is the garlic.
Oh, look at what I found
Oh,
underneath the bag. I'll do those up because they are tasty.
never mind, those weren't the last of the veggies. I can see that I left on accident some of the brown stems on some of these onions, so I'm just cutting those off. And then I always like to have the potatoes underneath the pot roast because then I think it just makes for the most flavorful potato with all the drippings going into the potatoes. I just pulled out one more pot because I didn't think we would have quite enough room. So I'm going to throw some onions in the bottom of this one, some potatoes. There we go.
Out to the yard debris bin with the carrot, onion, celery root, and potato peels.
Brilliant, Mom, brilliant. I need to get a compost bin, like an actual dedicated compost bin. I just throw stuff either in my garden beds or in the woods. It would be nice to have a dedicated compost bin.
I like the nice big cloves instead of a whole bunch of little bitty ones.
My mom is doing the garlic, so I can go ahead and get the beef in these pots and our wine that we reduced a little bit. I could have prepped. I think this is going to be one of the easiest dinners we've ever made.
Yes, that's why we could do it all in one day to feed so many people and not be toast.
I think this is going to be one of the easiest dinners we've ever made.
Yes, that's why we could do it all in one day to feed so many people and not be toast.
I should probably season these with salt and pepper. Okay, do you usually add broth to this?
I do usually add a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe so there's an inch or so of liquid.
Okay.
Let me put these in. All right, that looks heavenly. I'll just distribute. This one I'll do 3 and 2. 3, 2, 2. I'm gonna stuff them down in. Oh, let me go get some rosemary from the garden.
Okay. This was chicken broth because that's what I had on hand. And now I'm going to put a lot of Worcestershire sauce while my mom goes and harvests some herbs.
I bought some thyme because my thyme did not survive
Oh, really?
the last couple of frosts. It's all brown. I mean, I'm sure the plant's alive, but there's nothing I can harvest off it anymore. This is where I'm hiding my strawberry tower this year. I have hardier berries and I think it will do well. And where it is, I don't think the wind will knock it over. But I only have
Your
just
thyme
that
looks good
little
over
bit.
there.
Yeah, it does actually look good. I can't turn it because I locked it. I could have used that. Anyway, the oregano's okay, the sage is looking poorly, but the rosemary over here is wonderful. Oh, it's cold.
Oh yeah, look at that. Mine died last year.
Obviously the mint, there's still a few places you could harvest from, and the chives are done till next year. Go, I should do
4,
extra for the big one.
2, yeah, 2 in the big one. And
Now I like to leave them on the stem so that it's easy to pick them up and remove them when you first start emptying the crock pot. I'm gonna have to cut them shorter. They're too long.
that smells so good already. The red
Yes.
wine, the Worcestershire,
The garlic I just peeled.
the rosemary. I'm just gonna throw a couple of these on top too, and then we can just take the whole stems out when we're done. Do you usually put a bay leaf in it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me grab a bay leaf.
And I usually tuck the bay leaf down so that it's actually down in the pan drippings. Oh, smells heavenly.
I think I'm gonna do one more thing of pepper. Because some of the beef I didn't pepper.
Oh yeah, I was doing it and then I stepped away.
I salted everything, I just didn't pepper. Sometimes I worry about the pepper burning when I brown beef.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but.
I think I need to get some new bay leaves. These are pretty crunched.
You can grow bay here.
You know, I was just read a thing about that I don't know if it's the same variety of laurel that bay leaves are that grows proficiently around here. I'd like to do a little more research and find out.
I think
because
you can.
I was reading and what I was reading, it said fresh bay leaf is way more intense.
Oh.
Because the question was, can you really taste the difference? Well, fresh bay leaf, you can more than dried.
Especially most of us have probably had the same bay leaves in our pantry for years.
I wonder if we can fit all three on one shelf?
Oh, I didn't really think about that. I assumed we could.
Because I don't think I can stack them.
No.
Because it's not big enough.
We'll see if we can fit all this in the oven.
We're doing Tetris here, how to fit an oval and 2 rounds in one small oven. But
I think maybe.
I think we can. If we put the smaller one, which one's smaller?
This one.
Okay, let's try to tuck that one all the way in the back. Oh yes, I think we can.
Is the oven door gonna be able to?
can.
It's tight.
Let's see if it closes. Yay!
We did it. Okay.
Oven Tetris score.
Yeah. So we have the oven at 300 right now. So now we can reset. That was very easy to get that going. Let's do the cake next, and I can get going on the rolls.
Yes.
Okay.
The pie we need to refrigerate.
That's what I meant. The pie.
Okay, because the frosting, the cakes are done.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll preheat the oven for the rolls.
And always remember to do start. Because if you don't do start, it never starts.
We decided to do a little bit of cleaning before we make the pie.
Here's a demonstration. I got that wet, hot water, wrung it out. It's not hot anymore, and watch. It doesn't leave streaks.
That's nice.
Isn't that nice? No product. And the reason I keep saying no product is I have asthma. And anything that sprays in the air when I'm in a very sensitive state,
Bothers your lungs?
it does bother my lungs. Like no hairspray in an aerosol can. It's got to be a pump. But see how look at that works? Let's do my refrigerator. Look at that. No streaks. No streaks.
I haven't tried that yet, so that's really nice.
No
Try right here.
streaks. No streaks.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that amazing? And I don't have to spray anything. I mean, I've tried using oil. I've tried using Windex.
Awesome, Mom.
Isn't that amazing? Like this is, if the world knew about this and I owned it, I'd be rich.
I was gonna get going on the rolls while my mom worked on the pie, but our milk is frozen solid. So we just have it in some water so that it can thaw out, and we'll work on the pie together. She is zesting these teeny tiny key limes, because we're making a key lime pie. And
Which I think they have better flavor, but I should have just bought a few to use to get the zest from, because the peel is so thin, it's very hard not to go almost all the way to the fruit to zest it.
we need 1/4 cup of lime juice. So this is gonna take a second.
3/4 of a cup.
Oh, we need 3/4 of a cup of lime juice. I think I actually can put a couple in here at one time because they're so little. They have such thin skins. Whoops, sorry.
I should have got a bigger measuring cup so you could put it all the way down in the cup. This is one of my son's very favorite desserts because he's a sweet sour guy. And there's nothing sweeter and sourer than a key lime pie.
Hence the freeze-dried sour Skittles.
And I'm doing this zesting onto a very smooth surface like this Corelle plate because the lime zest is kind of sticky and it would stick to the cutting board and you'd lose a lot of it.
Yeah. Just so you have an idea of how much more you need to do. I have freeze-dried lime zest I could have brought.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you take all the time to zest limes? Did you like get them in bulk or something?
I did, yeah.
Oh, well, next time.
Yeah.
We usually do a key lime pie in the summer as well.
Well, while you're doing that so you can get a backlog for me, I'll go ahead and make the crust.
All right, I measured out the graham crackers and the sugar and the butter that just needs to be melted.
I can link this. Mom, do you have this key lime pie recipe I could link?
I do, yes.
Okay.
And the strawberry cake as well.
Okay.
I have it, I just didn't send it to you yet.
Okay.
I think we'll have a break time between all this food prep once we've finished everything, because the roasts are just gonna cook for hours. So I'll be able to do that this afternoon and then set the tables. Normally I have the tables out the day before, but it didn't work out this time. We're gonna do it all in one day.
My mom had the crust, the sugar, and the butter pre-measured out. So all I had to do was melt the butter, and I'm just gonna mix this together. And are we supposed to bake this first?
No.
No, okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm just mixing the crust in the pie pan so we reduce a bowl. And it was 8 full-size graham crackers, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and a 1/4 cup of butter.
Oh, bake in the oven 10 minutes.
And at 350. So let me change this because we aren't baking the rolls for a while. So I'm gonna reduce that temperature to 350. And then I can measure out the sour cream. She got her 1 tablespoon of zest. I got the graham cracker crust done. So I'm gonna start on the filling, which is 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk. My mom got a new can opener for Christmas. And it
You'll never guess who bought it for me.
It works.
It was a nice stocking stuffer.
Yeah. And then we only need sour cream, and then that's everything. So this is super, super easy to put together.
And it's a classic dessert.
Minus the zesting, I guess. The zesting of the key limes was a little tedious.
But I think it's going to be worth it because the smell is heavenly, and they seem to be juicier than regular limes, although we are in citrus season.
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason why they're so good right now. Let's see how many seeds. Oh, we had a lot of seeds. I'm really glad I did the sieve. And did we get the temperature up for the oven?
Yes.
All right. Now I've made this recipe probably 30 times. The recipe calls for it only to bake a very short time, like 8 to 10 minutes. It's not supposed to brown, but I always bake it longer because I want to make sure it's firm. That's just a side note. And I've never had trouble with it getting brown.
There was a little miscommunication about the crust needing to be baked for the pie prior to putting the filling in. And yes, it was supposed to be baked for 10 minutes, and it wasn't. So hopefully it'll be okay.
I don't think it's going to be a problem. I probably have made that same error myself in just whipping it together, considering I've probably made it 30 times.
Yeah.
So it'll be fine.
We got enough milk thawed, so I have that pre-measured out and I warmed it up just a little bit. We're making the rolls now. I have my yeast in here, I have some water. We are going to let the yeast sit with the water and the milk for just a minute. I can get some, I probably could have just put that in the bowl. I'm gonna get some honey measured out into my butter so that it all slides out really easy. I need 4 tablespoons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for good measure, maybe 6 for good measure. And I'm gonna double this recipe so that at least everybody gets one. Not everyone in my family will eat a roll, and some people will eat 2 rolls. So I'm gonna let that hang there for a second. I am gonna put some fresh milled flour in here. I am just starting to experiment using fresh milled flour in rolls, so I'm gonna start with, I think, maybe 3 cups of fresh milled flour, and then I'll use white flour for the rest of it. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup while I'm waiting for my yeast, because that does need to sit for a few minutes. Since we are having the party tonight, cleaning as we go is paramount to not having to have a huge mess to clean up at the end. Is this a 1 cup measure, Mom?
Yes. Okay.
So that was basically a 50-50 split of fresh milled to all-purpose. And I'm starting with less than the recipe calls for because that fresh milled flour is going to absorb more moisture than the all-purpose. I think I'm just gonna mix this together and let it sit for a couple minutes. Yeah, obviously I'm gonna need to add more flour, but I'm not sure how much more I need to add until I let that whole wheat flour hydrate a little bit. So I'll come back in about 6 or 7 minutes and add more flour. And then we'll do the big kneading process.
One of the desserts we're making this time are some keto chocolate chip cookies. I made it, I should say not me, my sister made it while we were in Florida visiting. And after making them, we decided that there would be some changes made to it. First of all, I didn't realize there was different kinds of stevia. The recipe called for liquid stevia, which we could not find. And we didn't take time then to see what they equaled each other in volume, the liquid versus the powder, to make the recipe. So I did all that research and I adapted it to the powder, which is all I could find here. So that was one change. Oh, there's the pie. Take a look at the pie.
I'm just slowly adding. I can add up to another cup of flour for the recipe, but I'm just slowly adding it and mixing. I think I'm probably gonna stop there at a 1/2 cup, and then I'll get in there with my hands and knead this. Is it done?
I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes.
Okay. Because I don't wanna add too much flour, because if you add too much flour to your dough, it'll get dry. And definitely, especially with working with fresh milled wheat, I don't want dry rolls.
And the reason I'm adding 5 more minutes is because the crust wasn't cooked. Pre-baked.
The crust wasn't cooked.
No, I'm taking full responsibility. Anyway, back to the cookies. My sister did them drop style and they were really pretty crumbly. So another adaptation is that I did the dough yesterday and rolled it as if I'm making refrigerator cookies that my grandma used to make that were tasty. In a log, and now I'm gonna slice them instead of attempt to drop them and have them look like the kind of cookies they're supposed to be. Now these aren't gonna taste anything like the ones my grandma made. She used to make orange flavored refrigerator cookies with cranberries and some kind of nuts. I don't know, walnuts or pecans or something.
What kind of flour did you use for those cookies, Mom?
Almond.
Okay.
Because that has less carbs than really any other flour.
I love almond flour. It tastes really good.
Yes, I think so.
I'm excited to try those.
Well, smell it. It smells really good.
Oh, it smells like cookie dough.
Yeah.
Or like chocolate chip. Is there nuts in it too?
I did. Oh, yes, pecans.
Ooh, yummy.
I did put pecans in it.
Can I move this over here?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
That was just my recipe.
We did clean these counters, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take this dough out and knead it. My mom doesn't have a mixer, I don't think, that could handle this amount
No, I don't.
of dough. And it doesn't hurt to get a little bit of an arm workout this morning. It's gonna take me quite some time to knead this.
Okay, I think that's about half.
Do you have a dough scraper, Mom?
This, I have a plastic one in here, I believe. No, I don't know where it is. I do normally have one.
It's okay.
Well, I know I have one. Someone must have put it in another location.
That is one of the risks of when you have people help you unload your dishwashers or dishwasher. That's okay. I can use a spatula. It'll just take me a second.
I don't know where it is. I know it's yellow. I do know it's yellow.
I think I got it.
Now I'll reform them to keep them together. They were kind of crumbly because obviously almond flour doesn't have any gluten. So there's nothing to make it hold together very well. And if they don't turn out, you know, there's lots of desserts.
They look good.
They smell good. Okay, when you get ready to roll those into rolls, will you give me another lesson?
Yeah.
I want to be able to master that, and it's something I've never done. Although last time we made them, you showed me, but I need to do it a few times. I am a touchy-feely learner.
Yeah, I can. Pretty easy.
Now, to know when it's done, bubbles come to the top.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever made a key lime pie before.
I think it's looking good.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
Looks beautiful. Smells good.
It smells really good.
Yeah.
I'm just going to set this on the cooktop because I didn't get out a cooling rack, but that works just fine.
So this dough is very sticky still. I did add a little extra honey, which probably could be plain into that. But instead of adding more and more flour, I'm just gonna knead this till it comes together because I don't want this to dry out. I'm just gonna keep developing those gluten structures until we have a nice dough.
As I recall, these cookies didn't spread at all, and they didn't really change their shape. So I am trying to shape them nicely.
Did you use sugar-free chocolate chips too?
Yes, the dark chocolate, sugar-free chocolate chips. They're not my favorite because I really like milk chocolate.
Me too.
But then that kind of defeats the keto purpose. All right, I'm gonna pop these in the oven for 12 to 20 minutes. Usually takes 14, it says. Well, I don't know what the temperature is, 350. That's
Top
probably
one is-
not
the
hot
top
enough,
one's-
is it?
it's-
Top
yeah.
one's 350?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think we just have to decorate the cakes, right?
Yes, and finish the veggie plate, and I think that's it. Man, here's my list.
I forgot the romaine lettuce for the salad, so Josh is gonna bring that when he comes.
Because it's one of the more simpler menu dinner parties we're doing, I didn't do as complicated of a countdown clock as usual. Bake the cookies, make the vegetable tray, set up the dessert and drinks, set the table, frost the cake. That's it. We are down the countdown.
This is what time and kneading does to bread, is you can see how it's not crazy sticky anymore because we've now developed a lot of gluten.
And it's a good workout.
Yep, feels good. And this dough is still really, really soft. So I didn't add too much flour, I don't think. This is the first time I'm attempting to make rolls using fresh milled wheat.
I forgot to get hummus for the veggie plate, but Mark's been enjoying celery and peanut butter a lot, so I'm just going to mix these two almost empty jars of peanut butter and use that as a dip.
It's a good idea.
I think I need a knife though, because the bottom of the natural peanut butter turns to cement.
If he's eating it pretty quickly, you could get it at Winco. Fresh milled. It doesn't separate because it hasn't been sitting on a pantry shelf in a long time.
Oh, do you do that? Is that how you get peanut butter? I mean, I go to Winco all
Sometimes.
the time.
I like to do their almond butter. The grocery store we go to has one of those things that just has peanuts or almonds in it, and you can grind peanut butter there. And it's more fresh if you want just plain peanut butter with nothing else in it, and you don't have to stir it.
Yeah,
it
that's
hasn't
a
been
great
sitting
way.
on a grocery shelf for a long time.
Yeah, I've heard the trick about stirring it up and turning it upside down so that when you open it, the oil's not all up at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, does that smell good too?
The peanut butter?
Oh, yeah.
I can already
I
smell.
must have an oversensitive
nose.
yes, because I'm just smelling everything.
The chocolate chips smell really good.
Are the cookies in the oven?
Yeah. I oiled the top of this bread so it doesn't dry out, and it needs to rise for at least an hour. I'm gonna put some plastic wrap on it just so that it doesn't dry out. Trap some of that moisture in there.
I'm gonna save this jar because I don't think that they'll eat all of this peanut butter, but I wanted to fill it up so it looks pretty.
All right, rolls are done. Well, first part is done, I should say. I'll set that over by the oven. I'll set that over by the oven.
Look at these, they're beautiful.
Oh, those look perfect, Mom.
They look like bakery. Look at those.
I'm excited to try
Aren't
those.
they gorgeous?
You'll have to make your notes of what exactly you did to change that recipe.
I did,
You
when
did?
I wrote
Okay.
the recipe out. I did.
Okay, so we've got about an hour and 15 minutes on our dough. Our veggies are done. Do you want me to wrap that and pop that in the fridge, Mom?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I gotta see how long to leave them on the cookie sheet and then put them on the tray. Okay, 20 minutes. You don't ever take them off there. I'm going to because they're getting really brown on the bottom.
We are celebrating my niece's birthday, and she requested a donut cake. So that's the next thing we're gonna do. My mom already baked the cake, but she has not decorated it yet, so we're gonna decorate it. You baked the cake yesterday, right?
Yes, I did.
You know, I might be able to fit this in your fridge in here. It's only gonna be in here for a little bit.
It said to leave them on the cookie sheet, but if you notice, they're getting really dark at the cookie sheet. So I decided, executive order, to pull them off and let them not continue to cook on the bottom.
How long did you end up cooking those for?
14 minutes, what it said.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, we did all the things to do as soon as Becky arrived. I have baked the cookies, we have made the veggie plate. All we have left to do is frost and decorate the donut cake and do the setup as far as set the tables, do the drink station, do the dessert station. And I haven't dusted yet, obviously, the floor.
And bake the rolls. But this is
Yes.
gonna sit here for a while, so we'll be able to do a lot of other stuff while this rises. Before we do any major cleaning though, my mom wants to, well, we're gonna clean the counter one more time, and then
Yes.
she wants to do the cake. And then we'll go through, clean the floors, do a final clean on the countertops, and go from there.
Oh, no point in cleaning the floors till I make the frosting, because no matter how careful I am, there's usually a powdered sugar cloud
Yeah.
that ends up on the floor and the counter and all of us. I'm making a strawberry flavored frosting. Becky was all out of freeze-dried strawberries, so I ordered some online, and it says to chop them or blend them. And I have this attachment for my stick blender that is a little food processor. So I'm going to pulverize them in this little food processor. Wow. I'm really going to pulverize them because I might try to pipe this. No, I'm not going to pipe it at all because it's going to look like a donut.
Do you want me to soften these for you?
Yes, please.
Did you make a strawberry cake as well?
I did.
That'll be good.
I did.
Soft. Do you think these are soft enough?
Yeah.
Okay. And you need both of these cream
Yes,
cheeses?
please.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd have to check the recipe. I just got the box out. Buttercream, 1 cup of strawberries, 1 cup of butter. Oh, I guess I don't. I was going to just make a cream cheese. Oh, that was for the carrot cakes we decided not to make. So I
okay.
don't need those. Yep, that's it.
Okay. So we're supposed to beat the butter on high for 2 minutes.
Whoops, lock it down. Thank you.
Mom, can I try one of these cookies?
Certainly.
So they're not super crumbly like you were saying the last time when
Yeah.
Aunt Mary made them. You want to try it?
Uh-huh.
It's pretty good.
They're pretty good. I could probably even put more stevia in.
They're not very sweet. But
Because the chocolate isn't sweet.
yeah,
I would put more stevia in.
they're good though. They have a good
You can
texture.
taste the almond
Uh-huh.
and the pecan.
Walnut?
Pecans.
Oh, you put pecans in this? That's good.
Now this is my solution to prevent a giant cloud of powdered sugar. Most of the time it works, if I indeed deploy it. I added the milk, and now I'm adding the vanilla, and I just pour it. The recipe calls for 5 cups of sugar. I know the bag measures 7 cups of sugar, so I will leave about 2 cups of sugar left in the bag. There, I did it. I got a great idea, Becky.
What?
You brought strawberry jam, right? Homemade strawberry jam. Could we use that as a filling for our cake? So it's a strawberry filled donut?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have lots of home done jams in my pantry.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea.
We're trying to make a cake into a donut.
Yeah.
That's the powdered strawberries. Oh, wow. Does that smell good? You can really smell the strawberries while it's being beat.
Oh man, that does smell good.
I'm not a fan of artificial strawberry flavored things.
Did you already add food coloring?
No, I did not. I might not need to.
No.
With the powdered strawberries.
Once it's all the way mixed in.
To it.
We decided, or my mom decided, that her frosting doesn't need the food coloring, just the freeze-dried strawberries made it nice and pink. She's gonna go ahead and start frosting her cakes, and I am gonna start rolling out these rolls so we can do it at the same time. I normally bake these in a baking dish. You think that this would work okay? Oh yeah, because we baked it with the turkey on a sheet like this.
Yes, we did. When we made turkey rolls.
Yeah, that should be fine. Do you want me to put a piece of parchment paper down, or do you want to just bake those?
You can, or you can use one of the silicone mats.
Oh yeah.
The other thing I noticed with the freeze-dried strawberries is that it continues to absorb the liquid, and twice or 3 times I've added more milk to make this spreadable. I'm going to have to do it again when I actually get ready to do it, because these cakes are frozen.
Oh yeah.
And it'll just seize up and not be able to spread. Now this recipe called for fresh strawberries, which I opted not to do for a couple of reasons. I didn't buy them. And the other reason is this time of year, strawberries that we would buy in the grocery are from who knows where, and the texture is rather woody and the flavor is minimal. So I had frozen hoods, which are the absolute best strawberries in my opinion. So I adopted the recipe from fresh to frozen. I thawed them enough so that I could chop them. They were sliced and ready to go, like on shortbread or pancakes or angel food cake, whatever. But I broke off some chunks, and then I chopped them and put them in a sieve, a wire sieve, to let some of the moisture, because I did slightly sugar them to make it saucy when I froze them. So to let some of that drain away. And then I incorporated them into the cake, which you can see the bits of strawberries in there. So it's not going to have that artificial strawberry flavor at all, which I hope is the case.
And then Mom, the freezer jam. Oh, you will have to pipe, because are you gonna cut a hole in the middle?
Yes. And I should actually do that first. Yes, I am going to, and I'm going to use a glass to make a nice hole. Oh, I can make a tiny little 2-layer cake with the center. Won't that be cute?
Oh yeah, that will be cute.
All right, let's see if I can get that out. All right, plan B.
You know what might work better? A serrated knife.
Well, what would work is a flat knife that goes to the end. What's happening is I'm poking little, I'm not able to get to the base of it. Maybe I'll walk it around like this.
That seems to be working better.
I think so. Ah, there we
It
go. Isn't that
worked.
cute?
Yeah, I think that was the right size, Mom. You might want to get a new cardboard.
Yes, I will. But I'll still cut on this cardboard.
Yeah. Good job, Mom. That's cute. Is it good?
That tastes like strawberry. Real strawberry, not strawberry candy. I'm going to just make a track with frosting.
Did you want to fill it with jam?
I do,
Oh, you're just gonna, I see what you're saying.
so it doesn't run out. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So get your piping back out.
Yes. Now, I think this is the first birthday cake I've done that wasn't a Pinterest inspiration.
Oh, like you came up with this idea all by
Yeah, I
yourself?
did. I
Nice.
did. We'll see how
Good
well
job,
it
Mom.
works. Oh, you know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to frost this now where I can reach it.
Oh, that's a good idea. This dough is feeling really good. It's not feeling dry at all with the fresh milled wheat. I'm gonna cover these rolls and let them rise a bit. I can just use that same piece of plastic wrap I used earlier.
Okay, there we go. Does that look like a good enough channel to hold the jam?
I might put just a touch
Oh, yes, I think so.
there.
It looks a little low right here too. There we go.
It's a freezer jam, so it's not super firm.
That's all right.
If you've never had freezer jam, it is the best.
Oh, it tastes like fresh to me. There we go. Oh, that looks lovely.
And we still have enough jam for
For
the rolls.
yes, that works perfect. It's going to be a strawberry themed dinner.
My mom is not a canner, so growing up she would make freezer jam, and then when I started canning and never made freezer jam anymore. But this last year I started making it again, and it's so good. The difference between freezer jam is it's not cooked. So if you get in-season strawberries and you make it, they taste incredible because you don't cook them at all. So you have the fresh strawberry flavor, so it smells like summer
Yes.
strawberries.
Yes, and you don't put as much sugar.
No, it's so good. It doesn't set as firm though as regular jam does.
And of course, once it thaws, you have to refrigerate it.
Yeah.
If it gets left out on the counter,
It
and-
spoils.
yeah, it gets it ferments or it molds in about
Yeah.
2 days. Yeah. That's another ask me how I know.
Yeah.
You hate to waste it because it's so tasty. I was laying in bed last night wondering how I was going to frost this center. I get my greatest inspirations and problem solving in bed when I'm supposed to be sleeping. Anyway, I was wondering how I was going to do this, and it worked perfect being able to do one layer at a time. So it's nice and neat and clean in there.
I did check on the roasts and they are starting to get tender, but not near done, which is okay because we still have quite a few hours before we're planning to eat.
There we go.
That looks really nice, Mom.
Oops, might have to taste that piece. And I can get it perfect by looking at the hole in the middle. That's how I knew it was so far off. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right, now I'm gonna carve it, the edges round, to make it look like a donut. I'm afraid to
Oh,
go.
I see what you're saying.
I'm making it a donut. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'll carve the center at a slight 45-degree angle. And that way it's going to look like a donut. Oh, is that going to look like a donut now?
Yeah, that's cute.
Well, I'm pulling the frosting off that I put in the center because it's frozen.
I was wondering how you were going to do this. So the frosting has kind of set up just a little bit because the cake was cold. So that's why she's kind of pushing it in a little bit. That's cute.
I've seen this technique used by bakers on YouTubes and Reels, that you throw it on it, like if you're going to do the sides, you push it up to the sides and mash it. But we're just going to do the tops.
That really does look like a donut, Mom. You did a good job.
Well, I'm proud because I did it all from my own little brain.
You're cute. Well, she's doing that. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and get an egg wash out, and I'm going to put an egg wash on these rolls. And then, Mom, you need to show them your donut hole that you made.
Here's the donut hole. It's a donut and a donut hole.
Perfect.
I think I'll put a little sprinkles on the top because donuts need sprinkles.
I got to my mom's house around 8:30 in the morning, and I think we started cooking around 9. We needed to get started early in the day on this day so that we would have enough time to get the roasts ready to go, all the vegetables ready to go into the oven and let them slow cook for hours and hours and hours. But the nice thing about that is that we were then in the kitchen, and so we just kept doing obviously all the prep, and we got done relatively early. So everyone was coming over around 3:30-ish, and I think we were done cooking and also getting the kitchen clean around 1 o'clock, other than a couple little things that, we would pop up here and there, like put the rolls in the oven, take the rolls out of the oven. I actually brought my laptop and was able to get some work done. And then my mom, my dad, and I just kind of hung out in between different tasks. And one of those tasks was my mom decided to pipe the whipped cream on the key lime pie. Originally, what she does if she has not as much time is she'll whip the whipped cream and then do a pretty mound on top, but she felt inspired to do a pretty piping job on the key lime pie, and it was really, really beautiful. The rolls are done. I took their temperature and made sure that they were 200. You want to make sure your bread is between 205 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and that ensures that it is completely cooked through, and those rolls turned out perfect. Every single one of them got gobbled up, and I want to try to play around with adding even more fresh milk flour because I was so happy with the results on how those turned out. And while I was actually getting some computer work done, my mom set the table. We are celebrating 3 birthdays on this day, and so she does set the table nice with a tablecloth, and she puts napkins down, and she puts a table runner, and just makes it pretty and festive for the birthdays that we are celebrating. Everything turned out for this party really, really well, except for one thing. So I will just tell you, my croutons were terrible. I have never had a problem with prepping croutons in advance, but I've also never made croutons using sourdough that did not rise properly. Normally I use a bread that has risen properly. And when I made the sourdough croutons the day before, because I made them on Friday, the day we're having this party is Saturday, and they were delicious. Trust me, I snacked on quite a few of those croutons after I made them and let them cool. Many of them got eaten and they were fantastic. But I don't know, the next day, I sadly put them into my salad and mixed them all in. And I had to tell everybody, friends, the croutons are chewy. So if you leave the croutons on your plate, I will not be offended because they were not crunchy at all. But that's how it goes. Sometimes you get wins like these rolls. These rolls were a huge hit. They were so delicious and tender, not dry at all. And then the croutons were chewy. But such is life. You can't, not everything can be a success in the kitchen, especially when you're playing around with, experimenting with new things. And I was just trying to save a loaf of sourdough that didn't turn out. So here I prepped the lettuce. Everyone is here now at this point. Josh brought the lettuce. I had bought this lettuce the day before and forgot to bring it. And so he brought it and I was able to get it washed up and chopped up. Now at this point, the roasts are out of the oven. They all 3 fit in that oven. I'm shocked that they did. And I am going to separate the roast fixings onto this platter. So we've got some of the meat, the onions, the potatoes, the carrots. I'll get the celery root. And oh my goodness, this was so, so good. It doesn't look like much on this platter, but let me tell you, when it was on the plate with the gravy, oh, it was so, so delicious. And everyone loved the celery root, which I was so happy about. I couldn't believe that everyone really enjoyed the celery root. My sister is making the gravy out of some of the beef broth that my mom was telling us about earlier, where it was super, super rich and delicious. And then here is me putting all those soggy croutons onto the salad. The dressing was fantastic, so it tasted all really delicious. It's just the texture was off, but everything else was fantastic. The roast, the potatoes, the celery root, the onions, the beef had fantastic tender flavor, and I am just so thrilled with how this simple Saturday dinner turned out. And here are all the desserts. I want to thank you, friend, for being here, for being you, for being part of our family. And if you want to watch more videos, I'll pop some here with me and my mom you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Bye, friend.